That's it, David. What you doing?
I've got a few things. I watched a lot of TV this week and some movies. The first thing that I watched, I think you watched it too, was the first episode of Westworld.
First and second episode.
Oh, yeah, I haven't watched the second one. So
they released it early because the debate was tonight. So
is that why? Really? They were like, we want to get out of the way of that. So I'm just going to talk about because we talked about it a little bit on View at Q at Screen. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I just want to talk about first impressions of the show. One is, it's awesome.
Oh yeah,
super unsettling. I love the setting. Obviously, you know how I love Western stuff. So I love
like at the end.
Oh, so great! And like the whole thing is, it's obviously this futuristic world where they've created androids that are like robots, machines that don't know that they're robots, and their artificial intelligence is so far advanced.
Well, it's not even technically artificial intelligence. They're programmed specifically to do. Like, if this thing happens, then you do this. And, like, they have their own little narratives and stuff. Right. Obviously, it's way more advanced than what you're making it, what you're probably thinking. But it's not artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
as far as we know, that could be the thing.
Right. So what the show is about is there's this place called Westworld that is essentially, think of like
Frontierland.
Frontierland.
It was humongous.
But a gigantic area that is controlled. Think of like, my wife gave me like the perfect, it's the Truman Show. So it's like this world that exists that's overseen by the executives of this company. And essentially it's like a Disneyland for adults. And it's this Western theme. It's like this old school Western. And people that are super rich can go there and engage in different like
whatever you want, whatever you desire is like their tagline.
Yeah, you can do righteous things. You can go help the sheriff take down the bandits in the mountains, or you can hook up with all the chicks in the saloon. Mm-hmm. You know, you can do whatever you want.
You can just straight up go rock around, murder people, and just see what happens. You know, whatever you want.
And so there's these androids that are in the park. I'm just going to call it a park. It's funny because it's written by the guy who wrote Jurassic Park, so it's always funny. It's like everything to him's a park. Like, does he go to Disneyland? He's like, none of it's real. Anyways, so. There's these androids in there, and they can't hurt the visitors the visitors of the park.
Yeah, everyone has guns, but like the visitors can shoot the hosts. The androids are called hosts, by the way. Can shoot the hosts and like they die with blood and stuff. But if the hosts shoot for some reason a visitor, nothing happens.
Yeah, so if you're a rich person and you're coming to this park, you're not going to be hurt. It's not that real,
right?
But it's
for now.
But what's interesting is that the creator of this world, Westworld, is Anthony Hopkins' character, and he seems like he's been doing this for a long, long time, and he's kind of a little sort of unsettling and a little off the rails, and he might be messing with the programming of these androids to make them do things that might not be so great.
Like he can push out his own code updates and stuff without kind of passing it through because he's the creator.
Yeah. It's very cool. That's all I really want to talk about because there's a lot of twists and turns in the show, and just the first episode. And the show does a good job of, so many shows are like, you tell your friend, oh, you got to watch X show, but you need to get to like episode 4. Yeah. Like it's a little slow.
This one's right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
Hook, line, sinker.
Immediately. And my wife, after she watched, she's like, eh. And then later she's like, no, I really liked it because I don't know what's going on. Like, I know enough about, like, this is troubling and this person seems to be weird and shady and this person seems to be weird and shady. But I don't really know what's going on, but I know enough that I want to know what's going on. So it doesn't...
Ed Harris is kind of shady and everything.
Oh, man, he's so good. He's so good. I like... It's just immediately, right off the bat, he's
such a good bad guy. It's got a lot of stars. Ed Harris, James Marsden. I forgot who the chick is, the main Dolores. But she's...
Leigh Wood.
Off the Anthony Hopkins.
Rachel Leigh Wood, I think is her name. I can't remember her name.
But yeah, so a lot of good stars in here, a lot of talent. They say this the pilot was around $10 million to make.
Wow. The
most expensive pilot that they've done in a very long time. This is HBO's replacement to
or the
Game of Thrones.
The off season right now, right?
Well, no, but I mean they have like 4 or 5 seasons of Westworld planned out. Obviously, Game of Thrones only has 2 short seasons left.
Right.
So like this is like the transition
from
drug. One big show.
The new drug.
Yeah, it definitely works on me, man.
No, that's cool. And the other thing I was going to say about it is it's obviously has the Game of Thrones parts of it. It's got like gratuitous nudity and violence, like going crazy. But what I noticed is, I don't know if you picked this up, there's a lot of like modern music played in that old westerny.
Yeah.
Like they played
Black Hole Sun.
They played Black Hole Sun. They played Paint the Red Door, or I See a Red Door and I Want It Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. But it's like in this like it's like it's super cool. Like, and it's little nods like that I'm like, I love the idea of like Old West meets futuristic. Yeah, it's like Firefly. Like, I love that stuff. So but it's obviously like super ultra violent but it's again
and boobies. Of course,
go watch it. Yeah. It's so good. You got to check it out. And you can now buy like HBO now for like $15, which at this point is totally worth it. You get so many good shows.
Agreed.
I also watched a bunch. I'm almost done with first season of Luke Cage. I know I talked about it a little bit last week.
Yeah, I think we just got to 4 and then I had to go. So
I'm on episode 10, so it's So good.
By the way, I want to talk about one episode in particular. We don't need like super spoilers.
Which one?
But so you talk about fan service, right? There's a bunch of things in the show that pay, calling him Power Man and like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not a spoiler, but
yeah. But was episode 4, which is like his backstory in prison and stuff?
Yeah, you get some backstory. Well, yeah. What's interesting about the show, because he was in Jessica Jones, so they don't spend a tremendous amount of time on his backstory. There's some flashbacks and stuff like that. But again, if you don't want any spoilers whatsoever for the show, like skip ahead maybe 5 minutes. We'll talk a little bit about it.
No, I'm not gonna talk any specific story stuff. It's just like in one of the episodes they explain how he got his abilities, just like I assume they would.
Yeah.
But have you seen what it looks like in the comics?
Yeah.
And what they did?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's just another good throwback to fans.
No,
and
absolutely.
like I said, I'm not going to spoil too much. I'm not going to spoil any of it, but it's just so cool. Like just that.
The example I would give is like in like the X-Men movies. And this is actually an interesting part of. Some people have a big beef with Marvel. The idea is that a superhero or a villain's costume has more to do with that character than other. Like you said, X-Men's like, what do you think? These are going to be bright yellow jumpsuits? Yeah, but that's the point. Is like the costume, the character's costume actually plays a part of their narrative, like the way it's cut, the way it's designed, because that's what you see in the comic books. Now, granted, it doesn't look cool, but if you can add enough of that in the actual costume in this, the new Marvel, not the cheesy ones from like the 80s and 90s, you're doing good by the character. Again, what they do with his costume, because if you know anything about the comics with Luke Cage, like it's just like all the other Marvel characters. They're
kind of ridiculous.
They're all ridiculous costumes, right? And if you watch like the XD cartoons now with Marvel characters in them, they still carry all the crazy costumes.
But these are all set in a like relatively realistic setting,
right?
So all that kind of ridiculousness would pull you out of like the grittiness of these shows.
What I would say is they do such a good job with his costume for this little fan service. It's almost to the equivalent of the cat ears in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I see what you did.
She would look ridiculous walking around in black spandex with cat ears, a la like the old Batman.
Right.
But it's like, her night vision goggles flip up and they look like cat ears.
They do that in episode 4, and it's just perfect.
Right?
Absolutely.
Oh, that was the last episode I saw, and it's like, that is so freaking cool.
What's cool about this particular gig, because me, you, and Jordan were going back and forth with text message, whether this is the best Marvel Netflix series, I guess you could call it. By the way, you sent me the trailer for Iron Fist, which it's like, oh my god,
Iron Fist trailer came out.
Oh my god, I can't wait. They are just killing it. But this one I actually like because of, again, the introduction of music throughout the whole show. I like, again, it's this show can, because in the big MCU you can't take big risk, right? You can't kill off Tony Stark. You can't kill off, you can't even kill off Rhodes. You can make them paralyzed, but you can't kill them, right?
Exactly.
Those are things that you just can't do. Well, in the smaller stuff, they have the ability to take bigger risks in the show, and they give themselves the opportunity to do that in the show. Now, I'm not saying anybody dies, but I'm just saying they have the ability to take risks that they normally would never be able to take with a big blockbuster movie. And I think that's why I actually enjoy watching these. Plus, it's a 10-hour, or 15 or 13-hour narrative, which you can flesh out a lot of cool, interesting things that would never make it. They would make the cutting room floor. So I almost want to savor it. Like I'll watch 2 in a row, and I'm like, okay, gotta slow down.
How is it?
It's so good.
Better than Daredevil season 1?
So not better than season 1, but better than season 2. Season 2. The only problem I had with season 2 is, it's, again, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but I just thought like
we've talked about it.
Too many people got shoved in.
Yeah,
and it's always a problem, but they really wanted to do Punisher, and they did an amazing job with him. But then there were some other characters that I don't think they did as good a job
like
with.
I said, we've talked about it before.
Yeah,
but
so
I'm still hoping that so far what I've seen of Iron Fist, I like it better than Daredevil. Only just a tiny.
You mean Luke Cage?
Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I said Iron Fist.
No worries.
I'm so excited for that.
But while I was browsing, while I was watching my 2 episodes of Luke Cage, and then took my required non-binging because I want to savor it like a nice wine, right? I then noticed that Portlandia has some new episodes. Do you watch Portlandia?
Yeah, we didn't see all of the last season, but yeah, we've seen all the seasons before.
I love this show. Like, it is literally, I don't laugh out loud that much at comedies. This one, for some reason, it's just so stupid. Like, it's, put a bird on it. It's all those stupid jokes where it's like,
you can pickle that.
Right, exactly. It's just like they take it so far. It's like what we talked about with Monty Python. It's about like making a joke, making it again, making it again, and then it's just like, oh my god, like stop, I can't breathe. It's so
you see
funny.
the drone one? They went to the music concert. Yeah,
that's the last season we saw.
Was that this?
No, that was season. I think they're on season 5 now.
Oh, okay,
but it's just such a good show, and it's done in such a way that it's like there's a whole joke where he wants to put all of his pictures, like all of his different devices, on one place, and they make all these jokes about the cloud, and he's like, well, if I do that, if you put it all in the cloud, then you can't get it to the river. And he's like, what's the river?
I think
you've seen that one. And like, they make so many jokes about like aging and like getting older, and like we fit into that time frame, like millennials, whatever, right? It's just they do a good job of really roasting people for all of those things that go on.
And they definitely get those like the hipsters and like making fun of specific.
I mean, the whole show is about making fun of Portland because of like the hipster nature of how keep Portland weird. You know what I mean? I adore that show. It's such a good show. Some interesting stuff that I did this week that was outside of television is I was before the Nevada Supreme Court this week.
Cool, man.
That's right. It was very cool. No, it was actually...
I almost fell off my chair. It was so cool.
No, we had a case. One of our cases at my law firm ended up going... There was a writ petition that went before the Nevada Supreme Court, and they requested oral argument. So I didn't...
What kind of argument, Steven?
Oral argument?
Yeah.
Shut up. What is that? Speaking of, I watched another movie. We'll get into that in a second. But... that I gotta clarify that. That sounded really bad. I watched Austin Powers.
Your wife, hopefully.
Austin Powers, and there's something about he's like, oh, you have an oral exam later, and he's like, I hope it's more oral and less brief or something like that. Anyways, we had this case go before the Nevada Supreme Court, so I'd never been like to the actual Nevada Supreme Court.
You're starstruck?
Oh, it's super. Yeah, for like a lawyer, it's kind of like they're called justices, and like when you start your argument, you have to say, "May it please the court." Like it's very formal. So when you get in there, they first of all they take your phone. Yeah, like it's no joke. No joke. Like we don't mess around. Most courtrooms, like every judge gets a gavel, but no one really like uses it. The bailiff says, "All rise." Everyone rises, and he says, "Judge says, everyone please be seated." And then he says, "Okay," and we'll start this case. It's like super formal. It's like church. Like when I walked in there, I was like ready to do the the Son, the Father, the Holy Spirit. Like it was very, very, very formal, and it was just super. Fortunately, I didn't have to argue anything. It was the partner at our firm argued, but I got to sit at the table. By the way, they looked at me. I looked at them.
Like, hey, a little wave, a little nod.
And then when he was done, he came back. He's like, "You're up next." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "No, I'm just kidding. That we only get one." But it's like they have like a time thing. Like they have this little green light, and then when it goes to yellow, you only have so many minutes. And when it goes to red, you only have 30 seconds. And like they hold you to it. Like it's no like, let me finish. It's like no.
It's no presidential debate. Dude.
No, they cut you off. But it was just really, really cool to be there. But it was super scary, and like the whole time, like I have like I don't have terrible posture, but like I was like posture man, like I was like a stick right up my butt. And so, anyways, it was just like it was an interesting experience. But I just never want to be like it's better to be in like lower court. Not that that you shouldn't take it serious, but it's just not.
Put me back in the slums of
exactly. I want to be like where the criminals
property
are.
defect court.
Exactly. I don't want to be here. It's too important. Like. And it was funny, actually. One of the questions that they asked the attorney that we wrote, that was the partner that was at my firm that was arguing. They asked him like a snowball, like an easy question. They're like, "Do you think these are valid?" And that's the whole point of the thing. He's like, "Well, yes, of course. That's why we're here today." And I was like, when he came back, he's like, "Do you think I was being kind of?" And I was like, "No, it's a stupid question. Like, what do you think? Like, what do you mean? What do I think? But that's the whole thing."
Yeah.
But
did you win?
Well, see, what's interesting is traditionally it's like 6 months before they actually give you their order. We have another case that they argued like a year and a half ago, and it still hasn't been decided. So
how long does it take? Just talk about it.
At this point, I'm like, you guys forgot about it.
Judicial system.
Yeah, we don't have.
Did you stop by the souvenir stop on the way out?
Did they have? No.
They don't have anything?
No, they don't have anything. This one's in Vegas.
I went to the Supreme Court, and all I got was this crappy T-shirt.
That would be funny if they
had a fine.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyways. Let's talk about some more fun stuff that I did this week. I played, of course, some board games.
Of course you did. Did you invent one?
No, I did not invent one.
I did.
But I played some board games this week. I'm just going to talk about them briefly. One is that Jordan's moving, which he's moving as we're talking.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's not here. He wanted to let you know.
Typical Jordan excuse, by the way.
That he beat you in fantasy, and he wanted everyone to know. Fantasy football.
Yeah, cool.
Anyways.
He's not here to say it. Why would you say it?
Anyways.
He can defend himself, you jerk. Screw you, Jordan, if you're listening.
He borrowed a dolly from me, but I made a request. I said, if you could borrow this, would you have to play a board game with me? That's the only way I can get people to play board games with me. It's through favor. But we played a game called Marvel vs. System. So it's a 2-player card game. It's Marvel. It's basically Magic the Gathering with Marvel characters. Yeah, that's what we did this week. It's okay. I liked it, but maybe we just need to play it more. But it's
you're never gonna do.
Well, no, I think I'll play it again. Because it has like the only, if it wasn't Marvel, there'd be no reason to play it. Like the game mechanics are not as good as like Magic or other 2-player card games, but the Marvel thing is why you're there. There was some funny stuff because like you at the beginning at the beginning of the game you pick like a main character and then you have all these supporting characters which are other Marvel characters. So he picked Spider-Man, I picked Deadpool. And each of your main characters has a special ability which you can level up and get like an uber special ability. Okay. So I played Deadpool and his regular special ability was like if everyone's stunned on that side of it, you get an experience point, so then you can level up to get his better one. And what it says on there is like, hey, there's no more bad guys to kill. That's his like little his special ability. And when you level him up far enough, it says, oh, not only can you shoot the other characters, you can shoot the player. Which the player is. It's not like Magic where the player has health, but when you play with Deadpool, he breaks the fourth wall and starts shooting the player, which is super cool. Like,
and does it do anything? It's just a funny.
No. It actually he only has a certain amount of health with Deadpool. Like he can kill the player. So it's this cool like
that is cool.
Yeah, it's like
just thematic.
Right, very thematic, and like his Spider-Man thing was about like being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, so he gets abilities for having other supporting characters, and if he gets in the way of certain things, like the altruistic Spider-Man. Anyways, it was okay, it was all right. I think I'll play it again just because of the Marvel thing. They have a bunch of expansions, like they have a Defender expansion, they have A-Force expansion, so they have a bunch of other like because you pick a team, like
groups. Yeah.
I was X-Men and he was the Avengers, or you can be like supervillains, and they all work together. And there's of course comboing, and it's a deck building game. But it's not a deck building game in the game. It's like Magic where you build a deck coming into the game.
Okay.
So it's all right. Check it out. If you like Marvel and you like card battling games, it's perfect. I'm just not a big card battling game. I like other games. The other game that we played this week was a expansion to Ticket to Ride, which we have right here. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but Ticket to Ride, great. You've played it, right? Yep. Train game. Yep. Very, very popular. We got this expansion. It's the UK and Pennsylvania expansion.
Wait, UK and Pennsylvania?
Well, it's two different maps. One side is UK. Yeah, that'd be a really long train. Yeah. No, it's one side of the map is UK, and then the other side is Pennsylvania. And it's not just like, it's a new map. It's the same thing, but a different map. No, it adds stuff. So we played the Pennsylvania version, which adds stocks. So whenever you lay down track, you get to purchase stock of that particular railroad company. And then whoever has the most stock of a particular stock at the end of the game gets, first player who has the most gets so many points, second place gets so many points. But throughout the game, you keep your stocks face down, so no one knows what you have. So it's kind of a memory game. It adds like a little bit extra to Ticket to Ride. So if you're like, Ticket to Ride's super boring and it's very family friendly and not enough gamer part in it, this adds just a little bit more. And then the UK version, which I haven't played yet, apparently adds technology. So you have like a tech tree. So like, when you lay a track, I'm guessing you can lay a second track if you have this certain technology, or if you lay a track of 3 or higher, you get bonus points because you have this certain technology that you've unlocked. So all of that seems really cool. I like Ticket to Ride for like introducing games, but the Pennsylvania version was just enough that I was like, I would play this with like you, and I would play with Jordan, even though I wouldn't play classic Ticket to Ride with you guys. I would play something heavier. That being said, I still think the best version of Ticket to Ride is Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries, which is another expansion, which is up here. This is the most cutthroat. Ticket to Ride is like such a family-friendly game. Like, you can be a jackass in the game if you want to, but no one really ever is.
Yeah.
Nordic Countries, you have to be, because the map is like super small, and like it's just...
That's the Santa one?
It's like what is that? Knife fight in a phone booth.
Yeah.
That's what the game is. It's like every move. And I remember when we went to a board game cafe, me and my wife played this. It's like, we played Ticket to Ride. We love this game, right? We put it down. By the end of it, Alyssa was like, I hate you. I'm thinking about drawing up divorce papers. Like, you're such a jerk. Because it's that moment in games where you're like, I was going to do...
And you don't want to, but like you said, you have to.
Yeah, because there's just no space. It's in a phone booth. So, again, I would recommend that one if you want to be gamer jerk, Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries. If you want family-friendly, just Ticket to Ride USA. And then if you want a little bit more gamer in between those two, not a jerk and a family friendly, get the expansion for Pennsylvania and UK. Okay, so that's everything I did. I did go to Mount Charleston, which I talked about in your thing, so I won't bring that up. But it was fun.
Yeah, cool.
I did have to hike just a little bit.
Yeah, did you camp? Did you stay at a lodge, or what'd you do?
It was my mom's birthday, so we went to a lodge to have...
Which one was it? Was it the first one?
The Mount Charleston Lodge.
Yeah, like right when you start going up the mountain?
No. You have to go up a little ways. And then there was no parking, so then I had to park at like the cathedral and like walk my happy ass like way down. Which
you know the whole time at the base of the mountain that I'm talking about?
I know the one at the... It's not at the base.
We stayed there before at the hotel one time. It's good. But so there's one up more.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so anyways, when I parked, I had to go way downhill, and I was like, I'm going to hate this, get into my car. After I have like of course I ordered like the biggest cheeseburger they have, because I'm like, this will be great walking up a hill. So that was terrible. And the worst is like when you're walking up a hill and you're like huffing and puffing and someone walks by and you have to like hold your breath to look cool. You're like, what's up? You like yawn to try to make it seem like you're
and faint.
yeah, pass out. Anyways, yeah. What else we got? You want to talk about our pinnacle of filmicals?
Yeah, that's all we got.
Okay. So again, we are breaking down the top 100 movies of